All right, welcome back to the slice from Miami. Carlos Alcaraz has crashed out of the Miami Open at the hands of David Goffin, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down and talk about what I'm calling now patented walkabout that Alcaraz can sometimes go on in these matches where he seems to lose focus or lose his strength of his game or his clarity on what he's trying to do. And then when you're playing a veteran like David Goffin, who is absolutely pure and crafty, you just can't do that on the ATP Tour on a quick surface in 3 sets. So we're going to break down this match a little bit, react to it, and we're going to talk about what Alcaraz has to do going forward to get back on track if he wants to be the top dog on the ATP Tour. This is The Slice presented by Betway. Let's get into it. Right. Welcome back to Miami. If you have not been following our coverage from down here, you are now, if you're watching this. So I appreciate you being here, subscribing if you haven't. If you didn't know, we are down at the Miami with our friends, the Miami Open with our friends Betway. They're a huge sponsor of the tournament. So down here covering the tournament and bringing you the action from the grounds. So, yeah, lots has happened this first week. Later today or tomorrow, I'll be putting out a kind of media notes dump from all of the things that have been going on. We've seen Medvedev lose. Yesterday we saw Kyrgios lose yesterday, but had really interesting comments about where he's at mentally and physically, career-wise. We've had the PTPA launch a class action lawsuit against the ATP Tour, WTA, ITF, and ITIA. And we had Djokovic talk about that, and we've had other players comment on it or not comment on it, maybe more notably. So we have so much to get into, but this video is going to focus on the Alcaraz Goffin match a bit more and stay on that topic, because to me, that's the story of the tournament so far is Carlos Alcaraz losing. A lot of people had him as the favorite. I did. He was my pick to win. Not a very good pick, I guess, but David Goffin, freaking David Goffin, under the lights on stadium court at the Miami Open, pulls off the upset. And for those of you who don't know David Goffin, you have to be familiar with this guy's game. He's beaten all the top 3 the big 3 members. He's been top 10 for a long time in his career, but he's had injuries and been slowly building his way back. And he's got game. Like if you go watch the match point from the match yesterday, where he returns right up on the baseline, a serve from Alcaraz, returns it deep. Alcaraz gets a nice ball back to him, I believe, on a forehand, but then Goffin reads it, times it perfectly with his own forehand, and puts it deep into the Alcaraz forehand corner, and Alcaraz can't handle it. It's those two ball strikes from Goffin sum up the match for him perfectly. His aggression, his timing, his tennis IQ, which is just higher than Alcaraz's right now. So when you're not at your best and when you're doing what Alcaraz has done, going a bit of a walkabout, you leave yourself open to these things to happen, like an upset at the hands of David Goffin. So David Goffin's rank right now is 55 in the world, but yeah, like I said, he's been much higher, and he played a great match yesterday. So if we're just going to pull up the stats here a little bit and look through them together, we'll do that and just recap the stats, and then we'll get into themes of the match and themes of what Alcaraz is doing. Here are the stats from Goffin versus Alcaraz. 2 hours, 18 minutes. Goffin wins 5-7, 6-4, 6-3. And if we go to the match stats, the serve rating, Goffin had a higher serve rating than Alcaraz, even though Alcaraz had 8 aces. Alcaraz won 67% of his first serves, not high enough. He got 67% of his first serves in. He only won 64% of his first serves, where Goffin won 59%. And then they both won 55% on their second serves. Breakpoint saved. Alcaraz was broken 4 times by Goffin. He only broke Goffin twice. And yeah, I think those are the biggest. The serve return battle there was huge. 42 unforced errors from Alcaraz to 36 winners. So as this match was obviously going to be the case, the match a lot was on Alcaraz's racket a lot. Almost every match he plays is, but the first serve points won 64%. There is way too low for, not way too low, but definitely too low for what Alcaraz is trying to do with his new serve routine or his new serve motion. Um, he's looking for better out of that. I was thinking about his serve motion and looking at Tennis Abstract at his tour level season. So 2025 is when he's implemented the new, more fluid serve technique, more loose, more whippy. And the results so far indicate that it's slightly improving things. On average in 2025, his first serve win percentage is 74%, which is the highest out of his career so far. As far as tour level seasons, his career average is 71%. It's 74% in 2025, but it was only 64% against Goffin. So Goffin did a better job returning, or Alcaraz had a worse night serving than his average so far this year. But if you look at the first serve in percentage, it's actually gone down in 2025 by less than 1%, but more than 1% over 2023. So he's getting a little bit less first serves in, and then on average, his first serve in percentage is 64.5. So he actually got 67% in against Goffin. Didn't win, only won 64% of those. So is the serve change working? Is that what the problem is? Probably not. His backhand, he said, impressed that the change that he's made to not have it so vertical on his take back, it's more out to the side. He says he's felt the backhand better than he ever has, and he's been loving that. But to me, when you see the games that he gets broken in these matches, he seems to compound his errors quickly. It'll be a game where he's serving and he'll make an unforced error off the first forehand in the rally on the first point. So he's down love 15. And then maybe he'll double fault. And then Goffin will hit a good return and but then Alcaraz will scramble, play a good point, and finish it with a clean winner. He's back in it. He's fist pumping 15-30, and then he hits another forehand wide by like 3 meters, and then it's 2 break points, and then he gets broken. And that seems to just happen way too easily for a guy of his caliber and where he's trying to be at in the game. The awareness of where you're at in games and the ability to play within a margin at those times should be more fluent for him right now. And I feel like it has been in the past. He's just been more locked in, but in these little moments of the match where he's under pressure, he doesn't seem to come up with the goods as much as he used to. So what's happening to Carlos Alcaraz? Why is this happening? Who knows? Again, he holds the French Open and Wimbledon right now. He holds 2 majors. Outside of those 2 majors, in the last 12 months, he hasn't really done much as far as win. Like he hasn't won he doesn't hold any of the Masters 1000s now. He had some good wins against Sinner last year on the hard court. So it seems like when he gets up for a match against a top opponent, he can find usually his best form. Even at the Olympics last year, losing to Djokovic, he played a great match, lost very close match. Wimbledon wins easily in 3 sets, wins at the French Open over Zverev. But the consistency of his level is just not there. And in Miami here, losing to David Goffin is, again, Goffin played a great match. He's unbelievable. And honestly, it's not like Alcaraz wouldn't have beat a bunch of other players. Goffin, I do not want to take anything away from him. Watching that 3rd set, the way that he was timing the ball and reacting to Alcaraz's game was incredible. And he said that he had to be aggressive because he says you give Alcaraz time, he has everything. And that's true, obviously. So then Goffin's smart. So he knows that he's going to stand up on the baseline to return. And then anytime he has a second, he's going to attack with his forehand, attack when he can, but it's attacking smart and within himself. He's not trying to play bigger than he ever has in the past. He's using Alcaraz's pace to generate his own and then use his ability to use angles and read the game to get behind Alcaraz. And that's what players have to do. They have to get the ball past Alcaraz. And even Goffin, who does not have a lot of power, is able to do that, but he's able to do that with those weapons that he has, which are a lot more subtle than just the big hitters. So again, there's no real shame in losing to David Goffin if you're me, because he's a quality player, and I think he's going to get his ranking is going to get a lot higher than where he's at currently, 55. But Alcaraz has got to find a way to be more consistent now, and I think it's getting in his head now. He's getting, it's happened so much now that he's starting to think, maybe question the way he's going through matches, and it's just been a while now since we've seen him put in a good performance against, or throughout a tournament against the best players in the world. And a lot of these tournaments, he's not even getting to play the best players in the world because he's losing earlier, like this one. Last week, lost to Draper. Same type of thing. Draper obviously won the tournament, was playing unreal, so it's not a huge shock, but the same reasons for him losing: the lack of focus, the lack of consistency throughout the match, game to game. It seems to be a recurring problem for him. And so we'll see. I think, people forget hard courts are his worst surface. He's onto the clay now. His next tournament, I'm assuming, will be Monte Carlo. So let's see what Alcaraz will bring on the clay, on his natural surfaces that he likes. Heading into, he's not going to get the number one spot, obviously, now before Sinner comes back, but he has Monte Carlo, Madrid, and Barcelona without Sinner to really impose himself, and I think make a statement to himself and the rest of the tour that, yeah, I'm still Carlos Alcaraz, and I'm still going to dominate everyone on the clay. But he's got to prove that, because we haven't seen him play like that. We haven't seen him be dominant week in, week out for a long time now, which seems insane to say because he's still 22. He's still a baby. He's already won 4 majors. He's not going away. I'm not concerned about him. He's not declining in general. He's just in a weird place in his career right now where he's going through like a bit of a slump, and that's fair enough. But anyways, that's kind of how I can summarize the state of Carlos Alcaraz right now. Unsure of how he's supposed to play these games, these matches throughout them. They seem to get away on him. The shorter formats, the 3-set formats against players who are always getting up to play him, like Goffin, he seems to not be able to hold on leads. He's not being a great front runner. And yeah, he's allowing players to play more than he used to, I feel like. But yeah, he is changing things in his game. He's changing his backhand. He's changing his serve. That is affecting his mentality a bit. And sometimes you have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. So maybe that's what's happening here, but it just seems to me to be a bit of him just kind of going through the motions a little bit, and the results are not there as they should be for someone of his caliber of play. So that's my reaction to Alcaraz losing to David Goffin. Big upset. Sucks for Alcaraz. I know he was motivated to come here and get a result that he didn't in Indy well. So pretty bad sunshine double for him. Pretty bad start to 2025 for Alcaraz. So now it's onto the clay, and we'll see if he's able to make a statement. For now, that's all I've got as far as a statement from the slice on Alcaraz losing. Leave your thoughts on what happened below. I am interested to read them. There's going to be a lot of reactions and emotions, I'm sure. But it's fair enough, because it's kind of shocking to see a guy of Alcaraz's potential, where we've seen him, I still think has the highest level possible on the ATP Tour. It seems like his floor for his level is getting lower. Why is that? We don't really know. But tennis is about floors and ceilings. He has the highest ceiling, and his floor has always been a little lower than some other players, but it seems to be getting lower as he gets older and more mature, which is not what should be happening. So that's a reaction. Alcaraz loses to Goffin in Miami. He's out of the Miami Open. Daniil Medvedev's out of the Miami Open. Nick Kyrgios is out of the Miami Open. Djokovic is still in it. Zverev is still in it. But really, we're still in the second round. So big news here from the grounds in Miami. Thanks for watching. This is The Slice presented by Betway. Subscribe. Do not miss any of our future coverage, and we will see you on the next episode from the grounds. Bye.